real flex, that's the dangerous joy. Javon the creative, ethical bad boy. Javon the creative, bad boy with a syllabus. Teaches truth with the camera, not cloud of gimmicks. It's just cause you can post it, don't mean you should. Ethics in the frame, like, let's be understood. Media literacy, hoodie with the sleeves pushed, breaking down consent while the algorithm looks shook. He'll roast a bad take, then explain it real calm, like intent matters, fam, context is the bomb. Teaches kids how to shoot, adults how to pause. Who's telling the story and who benefits, dog? He don't chase viral, he builds a spine, cause clicks fade fast, but integrity's timeless. Got students trying to flex, B-roll of pain. He like, why you filming? Who wins from this frame? Camera ain't neutral, it carries your weight. Every angle a choice, every cut a debate. Funny with it, but serious in tone. Knows power lives in what you leave alone. Creative bad boy, not messy allowed. Just teaching folks how to be human and proud. So if Javon talk media, you better lean in. He'll give you the tools and the mirror within. That's the real flex, that's the dangerous joy. Javon the creative, ethical bad boy. Javon the creative, bad boy with a syllabus. Teaches truth with the camera, not cloud of gimmicks. It's just cause you can post it, don't mean you should. Ethics in the frame, like, let's be understood. Media literacy, hoodie with the sleeves pushed, breaking down consent while the algorithm looks shook. He'll roast a bad take, then explain it real calm, like intent matters, fam, context is the bomb. Teaches kids how to shoot, adults how to pause. Who's telling the story and who benefits, dog? He don't chase viral, he builds a spine, cause clicks fade fast, but integrity's timeless. Got students trying to flex, B-roll of pain. He like, why you filming? Who wins from this frame? Camera ain't neutral, it carries your weight. Every angle a choice, every cut a debate. Funny with it, but serious in tone. Knows power lives in what you leave alone. Creative bad boy, not messy allowed. Just teaching folks how to be human and proud. So if Javon talk media, you better lean in. He'll give you the tools and the mirror within. That's the real flex, that's the dangerous joy. Javon the creative, ethical bad boy. Javon the creative, bad boy with a syllabus. Teaches truth with the camera, not cloud of gimmicks. It's just cause you can post it, don't mean you should. Ethics in the frame, like, let's be understood. Media literacy, hoodie with the sleeves pushed, breaking down consent while the algorithm looks shook. He'll roast a bad take, then explain it real calm, like intent matters, fam, context is the bomb. Teaches kids how to shoot, adults how to pause. Who's telling the story and who benefits, dog? He don't chase viral, he builds a spine, cause clicks fade fast, but integrity's timeless. Got students trying to flex, B-roll of pain. He like, why you filming? Who wins from this frame? Camera ain't neutral, it carries your weight. Every angle a choice, every cut a debate. Funny with it, but serious in tone. Knows power lives in what you leave alone. Creative bad boy, not messy allowed. Just teaching folks how to be human and proud. So if Javon talk media, you better lean in. He'll give you the tools and the mirror within. That's the real flex, that's the dangerous joy. Javon the creative, ethical bad boy. Javon the creative, bad boy with a syllabus. Teaches truth with the camera, not cloud of gimmicks. It's just cause you can post it, don't mean you should. Ethics in the frame, like, let's be understood. Media literacy, hoodie with the sleeves pushed, breaking down consent while the algorithm looks shook. He'll roast a bad take, then explain it real calm, like intent matters, fam, context is the bomb. Teaches kids how to shoot, adults how to pause. Who's telling the story and who benefits, dog? He don't chase viral, he builds a spine, cause clicks fade fast, but integrity's timeless. Got students trying to flex, B-roll of pain. He like, why you filming? Who wins from this frame? Camera ain't neutral, it carries your weight. Every angle a choice, every cut a debate. Funny with it, but serious in tone. Knows power lives in what you leave alone. Creative bad boy, not messy allowed. Just teaching folks how to be human and proud. So if Javon talk media, you better lean in. He'll give you the tools and the mirror within. That's the real flex, that's the dangerous joy. Javon the creative, ethical bad boy. Javon the creative, bad boy with a syllabus. Teaches truth with the camera, not cloud of gimmicks. It's just cause you can post it, don't mean you should. Ethics in the frame, like, let's be understood. Media literacy, hoodie with the sleeves pushed, breaking down consent while the algorithm looks shook. He'll roast a bad take, then explain it real calm, like intent matters, fam, context is the bomb. Teaches kids how to shoot, adults how to pause. Who's telling the story and who benefits, dog? He don't chase viral, he builds a spine, cause clicks fade fast, but integrity's timeless. Got students trying to flex, B-roll of pain. He like, why you filming? Who wins from this frame? Camera ain't neutral, it carries your weight. Every angle a choice, every cut a debate. Funny with it, but serious in tone. Knows power lives in what you leave alone. Creative bad boy, not messy allowed. Just teaching folks how to be human and proud. So if Javon talk media, you better lean in. He'll give you the tools and the mirror within. That's the real flex, that's the dangerous joy. Javon the creative, ethical bad boy. creative, bad boy with a syllabus. Teaches truth with the camera, not cloud of gimmicks. It's just cause you can post it, don't mean you should. Ethics in the frame, like, let's be understood. Media literacy, hoodie with the sleeves pushed, breaking down consent while the algorithm looks shook. He'll roast a bad take, then explain it real calm, like intent matters, fam, context is the bomb. Teaches kids how to shoot, adults how to pause. Who's telling the story and who benefits, dog? He don't chase viral, he builds a spine, cause clicks fade fast, but integrity's timeless. Got students trying to flex, B-roll of pain. He like, why you filming? Who wins from this frame? Camera ain't neutral, it carries your weight. Every angle of choice, every cut of debate. Funny with it, but serious in tone. Knows power lives in what you leave alone. Creative bad boy, not messy allowed. Just teaching folks how to be human and proud. So if Javon talk media, you better lean in. He'll give you the tools and the mirror within. That's the real flex, that's the dangerous joy. Javon the creative, ethical bad boy. Javon the creative, bad boy with a syllabus. Teaches truth with the camera, not cloud of gimmicks. It's just cause you can post it, don't mean you should. Ethics in the frame, like, let's be understood. Media literacy, hoodie with the sleeves pushed, breaking down consent while the algorithm looks shook. He'll roast a bad take, then explain it real calm, like intent matters, fam, context is the bomb. Teaches kids how to shoot, adults how to pause. Who's telling the story and who benefits, dog? He don't chase.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to season 2 of the Digital Bad Boy series. Shout out to Drew. I'm Javon. I will be your host. Well, yeah, I'm a creative bad boy now. I'm sorry. See my little bubble on this side. So today we're going to be talking about algorithmic influence in content on content distribution. So basically, that's a big way of saying why you see what you see and who decides what you see. That's what we're going to talk about. So what we're going to cover is, like, what is an algorithm, who builds and controls them, what you can do, and like the consequences from said algorithms and things that go on within what is content and what content is being created, different things like that. So let's kind of jump right into it. Have two people in this room, online, anywhere, ever seen the same exact thing at the same exact time on the internet? And truth is, the answer is no. Because you can have the same phone, the same app, the same time you guys are scrolling, and you will still see something completely different. And it's not because, like, you're a whole different person and, you know, like, they want to discriminate against you. Like, no, your algorithm is a direct mark on what they think is going to be best for you. So it's uniquely constructed solely for you and only you. So your internet experience is going to be completely different than someone else's internet experience, because the algorithm wants you to focus on what you tend to focus on, and it gives you more of the things that you tend to focus on, not what everybody else will focus on. So when you hear that name, algorithm, it's always a scary thing. It's always like I'm fighting against it, and it's out to get me, and this, that, and the fourth, and that's not really the case. So we're going to bust the myths of what an algorithm is and how they work. So before we can understand any consequences, Before we can understand anything else, we need to realize and know what the machine is. So let's start from the beginning. So the technical thing, and I'm going to read it word for word, technical definition, is an algorithm is a set of rules a machine uses to make decisions about what to show you. It processes your past behavior, compares it to billions of other users, and predicts what content will keep your attention the longest. It learns your behavior over time. It predicts what you'll respond to next, and it serves the content on repeat at scale. It's very technical, but that's essentially how an algorithm works. Doesn't matter if it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google, whatever it is. That's how it works. That's how all of them work. Now, a good human analogy is, think of it like a DJ who's watched you personally all night. It's kind of weird if a DJ is watching you all night. Like, it's a little awkward, but it's a good way. It's like DJ watches you all night and only plays what keeps you on the dance floor. And except this DJ has watched literally everybody else at the same time, has infinite memory, and never gets tired. And they don't play what's good, they play what keeps you on the dance floor. So all of us, like, I think we've all been in the area where we've heard a song and we're like, yeah, I want to go on the dance floor and dance. And think of your algorithm as the DJ that continuously plays that song, that keeps you coming to the dance floor, keeps playing more, keeps bringing up more energy, and keeps bringing up more dopamine at scale for everybody and you specifically. Okay, so how has an algorithm shifted over the eras? In the first few decades of social media, your feed just showed you what was most recent, and it showed you actually what was popular and different things, but you were really in control of how your feed and those different things worked. But everything changed after around 2010, like end of 2009, 2010. But 2005 through 2009, everything was chronological. So whatever was most recently posted was what was at the top. And who controlled that was you. So think about Instagram when it was that little brown camera. You only saw what your friends posted or what your friends of friends posted, and that was always at the top. And it was just pictures and social clips and different things. Like, this was even before video was even on Instagram. It was just pictures. Like, you saw chronological order. Same thing with YouTube. It was like what was most recently posted that you were likely to watch popped up. So like if you watched a lot of like video gaming stuff, then yeah, that was usually the thing that popped up. But you were more in control of your algorithm back then. But 2009 to now, it's actually engagement based. So whatever you engage with the most is what you're going to be shown the most. So let's say you watch a lot of basketball, you're going to start seeing basketball creators, basketball commentators, basketball games, basketball knowledge, anything that has to do with basketball. And then on top of that, you'll see shoes, you'll see advertisements for different shoes and dunking, like different dunking classes and different things you can buy. Like, it's always going to be engagement based on whatever you choose to engage in a lot on a regular basis. And who's in control of that is the platform. And when did this turning point happen? So this happened when the Facebook news feed algorithm launched. It changed the way social media and every major platform viewed and controlled algorithms entirely. And within a few years, the shift had transferred from editorial control from users to machines controlling what you see and optimizing for one thing to keep you on platform. In my previous classes, we have talked about like what is going to make your videos do better, and it's when you keep someone on platform. So YouTube does not want you to leave YouTube to go to Facebook. Facebook doesn't want you to leave Facebook and go to TikTok. The TikTok wants you to stay on TikTok as long as possible. Instagram wants you to stay on Instagram as long as possible. So does YouTube, so does Google, so does anywhere that you engage. they want you on their platform as long as they possibly can keep you. So that's why, like, particularly like when you say, link on YouTube or this is on YouTube, and you notice like that doesn't get pushed as much because that's not in the interest of that algorithm. It doesn't keep you on there longer. So a better way to do that would be is you post it. Like if you post something on Instagram to promote something on YouTube, you should be posting it on Instagram and have your YouTube in a link on your Instagram page, because now instead of sending someone to YouTube with a link in your video on Instagram, like on your story or something, now you can post it. They watch your video they watch your reel all the way through. Now they're interested in you. Now they go to your page. Instagram rewards you because, you're keeping someone on the platform so much that they visited your page. And now when they visit your page, they can choose to leave. So on and so forth. But also using those links up there, it'll open YouTube, but still be open in Instagram. So you're still on their platform. YouTube gets what they need. Instagram keeps you on the platform. You can close and go back to scrolling. So that's how algorithms kind of reward you more in that. But all that changed when Facebook changed the algorithm for everybody, and everybody followed suit. So how does it actually work? This is a little diagram I put together to just explain how it works a little bit. But every moment you spend on a platform generates data, and that data feeds a prediction engine, and that engine determines what you see next, and that loop continues. And before I explain the diagram, the thing I want you to remember is you are not the customer anymore. You are the product. Think of it that way instead of being like, I'm the customer and I'm always right. Like, no, the algorithm has already decided what is best for you. You're the product. You're the end product of the algorithm. So in the center, you see an input, algorithm, output. So input is your behavior. It's your watch time. It's your pauses, your clicks, your scrolls, your skips, your comments, whatever it is, any form of engagement, you name it, that's your input. Your algorithm is the prediction engine trained on billions of data points. So all of those things I just mentioned in your input, think of that as everybody on the planet that has a phone, has Instagram, YouTube, whatever, any kind of social media ever, any kind of anything that's done on the internet, it's compared against all those data points too. And the more you use it, the more input you're giving it, the more information the algorithm gets. And then the output is your personalized feed. So content ranked to maximize your specific engagement. So they're going like you're looking at people around the world and what they seem to engage with the most, what they engage with the most as well. And now it's taking all of that information and your information, comparing it and combining it for something personalized for you and everybody else. That's essentially how it works. And yeah. So this brings me to the very first myth, and I hear this all the time actually. And the algorithm shows me what's most popular. That is completely false. It feels like it's right. It's a sensible argument, yes, but that is completely wrong. Popularity at scale has almost literally nothing to do with what actually lands in your feed. Sometimes it's like, well, yeah, this is like Drake released his album today. So obviously that's going to be popular, but it's not because Drake is popular. It's because a lot of people engage with Drake already. So that's why he's going to be, like, he's engaged with on a global scale. Michael Jackson, same thing with his movie. Michael Jackson was a global artist. People engaged with him on a global scale. So yes, his popularity does affect what's in your feed, but at the end of the day, those who don't know about Michael Jackson, don't care about Michael Jackson, they probably don't have him in their feed. But if you engage with music at all, if you listen to music, you use Apple Music, Spotify, different things like that, yes, Drake, Michael Jackson, they'll pop up in your feed because they are things you're more likely to watch based off the input that you give the algorithm. But that just goes over to the reality of things, which is the algorithm shows you shows what you specifically will engage with the longest, not what's popular, not what's accurate, or what's important. Two people can search the exact same thing and in the exact same phrasing right now and receive entirely different results. And it's ranked by what each person's behavioral history suggests that they will click on. Popularity is an input, but personalized engagement is the output. So, yes, popularity, Drake being a popular artist, that's input. Michael Jackson being a popular artist, that's input. But the engagement that you see in your feed is the output. So, yeah. Myth number 2. If I don't interact, it doesn't affect my feed. Many people believe this, that, if I just scroll, if I don't click on anything, if I don't really watch anything, it keeps me off the radar. That is also completely false, because your silence is still data. So how long you pause on a post is tracked. Your scroll speed is tracked. What you almost stopped on is tracked. What you kept scrolling on is tracked. You don't have to like, you don't have to comment, you don't have to share, you don't have to do anything really. But your hesitation, dwell time, pauses, anything you can think of, as long as you are on the platform, you're giving it data. So anything you do on that platform is still active data collection. Many people don't think about that, but it's the truth. Like, if you open Instagram, even if it's just to watch your friend's story or to post something, whatever it is, anything you do, it's still data collection. So, who's collecting all this data? Who decides what's in front of you? How does any of that work? But yeah, understanding the algorithm is really only half of the story. You really need to know who is putting all this stuff together. Where does it come from? Who built it? And who benefits it from the most? And who do we hold accountable if things cause harm? Because it can cause harm. We've seen it before. That brings us to the decision chain. It is labeled 1 through 5, but we're going to start at the bottom, because we're going to go bottom up, not top down. So every piece of content you see has passed through at least 5 layers of competing interests before it reaches your screen. Let that sit for a second. It already has gone through 5 layers before it even gets to you. So there's that. You're the last consideration, not the first. That's why we're going to go bottom up, not top down. And that's why number 5 is the largest and 1 is least. So, let that sink in as we go through this chart. The first people to see it are engineers and data scientists. They're going to build and train the system. They're going to look at all the input that we mentioned before, and they're going to start building and training a system off of that information. And then the second is product managers. They set engagement goals and growth targets. So product managers, they're the Metas, the TikToks, the YouTubes, the Instagram, the Facebook. Meta is both Instagram and Facebook, but a lot of people don't really know that. But yeah, they're those. So they set the engagement goals and the growth targets for what they want to do with their platform. Number 3 is advertisers. We all know about the advertisers. They're the ones that they're trying to get you to buy anything. They're trying to sell you any and everything. They're the Temus of everything. Like, you see Temu everywhere. And yeah, that's the advertisers. They're the ones that are going to try to make the money, and they're going to define what counts as brand safe. And keep that in mind, because we're going to come back to advertisers in a little bit. But number 2, platform policy terms. They enforce or ignore the rules. They're supposed to enforce. Sometimes they ignore. That's neither here nor there. I don't know. But yeah, this is again where the Metas, the TikToks, the Instagrams, Facebooks, YouTubes, this is where they come back in again. It's like they have their platform policy terms, the X, all those different things. And then at the bottom of the chain, it's you and me. We're the end user. We're the bottom of the chain because we are the product. we're the last consideration. They don't care about us. I'm just kidding. They care about us. They just consider us last. Don't come after me. Platforms, please. Okay, what is the real goal? Well, the real goal is engagement. Engagement equals revenue. What is in that revenue model? More time on the platform, more ad impressions, more revenue. Simple, easy way to think about how it works. The more time you spend on Instagram, the more ad impressions they get to put in front of you, the more revenue that those companies can collect. Because somebody's going to buy something, somebody's going to scroll through it, somebody's going to consider it, and somebody's going to unnecessarily spend. So, yeah. A good note is outrage, fear, and controversy. These are not bugs in the system, but they are features. Content that provokes strong negative emotion generates more clicks, more comments, and more shares than the content that informs and uplifts. Plain and simple. The algorithm doesn't care if the content is true, it cares if it performs. That's why you see a lot of performative content that you're like, is this backed by anything? And there's a lot of examples I can mention, but I'll keep them to myself. But there's a lot of performative content that has come out recently that has done, like, for some reason everybody has seen it, and it's not because it's true, it's accurate, or that's what people care about the most. It's really about that's what people have engaged with the most. That's what's performing the best. So you can probably imagine who I'm speaking about, but I'm not going to bring it up. But okay, platform algorithm signals. Each major platform is optimizing for a different behavioral signal, but the underlying logic is the same. They maximize whatever metric that translates most directly to their revenue. Who are the players? YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Google. So YouTube, watch time, video completion rate. We've talked about that a little bit before. Like, you don't want to have a 45-minute video that people only watch the first 2 minutes of. You want to have a 5-minute video that people watch 4 minutes of, because that is 90% of your watch time. So would you rather have a 2% watch time, or would you rather have a 90% watch time? Plus video completion. Maybe instead of having 3 45-minute videos, you have 10 5-minute videos. And now people have stayed on your page very long, and on top of that, people are completing each video, which puts you higher up in the algorithm, which then puts you in front of more people, which then creates revenue for you in your content creation journey. Things like that. TikTok, same thing. Replay rate, full video watch. You want to have videos that are interesting. You want people to watch them over. You want people to watch them all the way through. Very easy, very simple, very straightforward. Instagram, saves and shares. You want people to be saving your content and sharing your content directly. Like, you want them to, and I believe they changed their algorithm a little bit too, to include watch time and pauses and different things like that. So of course, still do your research, because all of these change pretty often, but the underlying logic is still going to be the same. Like, what is going to be the most engagement? And engagement is always how you find how the algorithm is going to change. So whatever they define as engagement, that's pretty much what it is. But at the time of us recording this right now, Instagram is saves and shares. So when people save your video for later, when people share your video directly to their story, to their friends, they send it, different things like that, that rewards you in the algorithm because people are engaging with it directly. Likes and comments, I mean, they help, of course, it's still engagement, but not as much as a save or a share, and not as much as a pause, not as much as like a rewind, anything like that. And then same thing with Facebook, comments, reactions. If you look at Facebook's platform, it's a little different than Instagram. It's a lot of like, I don't want to say older, it's just it's a different generation of people that they like to be a part of things, and they like to react to things. So when you post, they want to see comments and reactions and different things. Like, they want to see people engaging that way. And then Google search, a lot of people don't think that Google has an algorithm, but Google actually builds an algorithm for a lot of other platforms. So Google search is click-through rate and backlinks. So whatever Google tends to click through. And did you have a question?
I did have a question from online.
Okay, lovely. We got a question from online. Sorry, y'all.
Suzanne asked, since the platforms reward stickiness, how do you get around being penalized? And how do you drive the clicks into followers on a new podcast using YouTube and Facebook and Instagram?
Okay, so I'm going to repeat the question in a short format so everybody can hear. Basically, they're asking, how do you avoid being penalized for your content when the sticky stuff gets rewarded, right? Mm-hmm. And then what was the second part?
How do you drive the clicks into followers on a new podcast using YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram?
And then how do you drive those clicks and views into followers from the YouTube and other platforms?
Yeah.
Basic question. I'm sorry, that was a long question, but to answer the question, you get people to follow you by getting people to know, like, and trust you. So there's a few different types of content that you can put out to relay that, and that's educational, inspirational. There's one more, it slipped my mind. Entertaining. So if you can entertain, educate, and inspire people, they will follow you. It's plain and simple. It's that's the easiest way to drive people to it. And then the last piece is seeing value in the content. For example, how Earn Your Leisure is a good example for me. A lot of people didn't follow them in 2020, but then we had COVID, and people wanted to know what to do with that $1,000 that we got from Donald Trump and his administration in that period in time. And they literally explained, if you get $1,000 today, here's what you would do. One of the hosts, he's an actual financial advisor. He said, here's what I would have my client do with that $1,000. Broke it down piece by piece. And then the next year and the following years after, they explained how those things performed each way. So even if I didn't listen to them in the first year, I listened to them now. And now it's I see more value and I continue coming back. And now I watch their show every Monday at 6 p.m. So on and so forth, and then I joined EYL University, so on and so forth. So if you can provide any kind of value for people that really connects with them, and you have to let them do it yourself, which is why creators say keep creating, because at the end of the day, you just have to keep creating, and your crowd will find you. But yeah, being consistent and creating value, those are the easiest ways to do it. But it does take a while. At the end of the day, it's still gonna take a while. But I hope that answers the question. Yeah. But yeah, that kind of plays into the algorithm signals too. Is as long as people are clicking through, watching your videos. Another, I guess, a good way to be technical with that too is look at your watch time on YouTube, because maybe you need to shorten your podcast episodes. Maybe you need to make them longer. Maybe you need to do them more often. Who knows? Look at your consistency on when you post, and look at your watch time on what those videos you're posting are doing. And then look at your engagement on Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, whatever platforms you're on. Actually go look at those numbers that they give you and just see and tweak stuff, and then watch how those numbers change. And that'll help you the most too. That's a good technical way to look at it, is go look at those numbers and see what you can change. And we have AI now too, so you can take a screenshot of those numbers and say, hey, this is my engagement. What do you suggest I do based off of YouTube's algorithm? So there's different ways that you can look into it. But look at those numbers, see what you can adjust, Sometimes it's literally you just need to have a better thumbnail. Whatever it is, like, it doesn't really matter what it is. Just go look at those numbers and you'll try different things and you'll see things change throughout. But yeah. Myth number 3, and this kind of goes great with that question. Platforms suppress content to be political. That is actually not true. It's a widespread narrative, and a lot of people believe it, and it's really not entirely without basis, because I mean, look at our political situation in the United States right now. Yeah, and then look at the CEOs that sit right next to the president. Mark Zuckerberg is right there next to the president. He's going with them to China. But it's really not the full picture of what's going on. It's a little more complicated than that. In some ways, it's a little more troubling than just being political. So the reality is, most suppression is driven by advertiser safety standards and engagement metrics, not coordinated political agendas. The politics often follow the money, not the other way around. And if it doesn't make money, it gets buried. So when you ask why a story didn't spread, the first question to ask is, who would have lost revenue if it did? That's an easier way to understand why certain things get suppressed, because at the end of the day, politics only follows where the money is trying to go. The big money is already placed where their bet is going to be. So anything that is going against that, well, those things are going to be suppressed, because it doesn't make those platforms that have already put their money in to benefit from it more money. It actually causes them to lose money, so they're going to push that to the side. So they're just really look at it as they're protecting their investment, and knowing that we're at the bottom of the food chain, that's kind of why it seems like they're not trying to protect us. It's because they're trying to protect themselves. It's unfortunate to hear it, I know, but it's the truth. Speaking of advertisers, how do they influence what you see? First thing we already talked about is the brand safety standards. So when platforms have safety standards, they define what counts as brand safe content, and anything outside that standard risks losing advertising revenue. So think of it as if Parlor Donuts gave me $100 million to have a box of donuts next to me, which I actually do. They didn't give me $100 million, though. I actually bought that. But they gave me money to have donuts with me in every episode, and their logo at the bottom of the screen. Whatever it is that maybe they want me to do that. But then I start talking about Winchell's Donuts and how great they are. They're going to be like, no, you're not allowed to post that, because you're going to risk taking our customers away from us when we've already paid you $100 million to bring us more. So it's not entirely without basis for them to do that, because like at the end of the day, you put your money somewhere already expecting a return. You can't just not say anything about something that goes against your guidelines. It's only fair. It sucks that it is that way, but it's only fair when you think about it from a business standpoint. So if I was to post that video is now going to get suppressed or demonetized, because it's not brand safe. It's not safe, and it could potentially cause us to lose advertising money to the show. Next thing is, it's financial. It's not political. Content suppression is often assumed to be ideological, but in most cases is purely economic. Advertisers, they don't want their brands appearing next to anything controversial, anything dangerous, and platforms bury it to protect revenue streams. Kanye West is a great example of this. As soon as he went on his rant, he lost Adidas, he lost Nike, he lost so many different partnerships all because of what he had said, because that's completely dangerous to the people that were backing him. So they pulled out so they could get away from that. Same thing happens every day to everyday creators and creators just in general. So it's not political, it's financial. So if you're wondering why something's being buried or something's being suppressed, follow the money. It'll tell you exactly why. And then creators feel it directly. Independent journalists, educators, and creators whose work covers sensitive but important topics find their reach throttled, not by a human editor, but an automated system that's protecting ad dollars. That's why it's really hard for independent journalists and different stories that are very sensitive. That's why it feels really hard for them to get out, because they're fighting against an automated machine that's protecting companies that have put millions, billions of dollars into protecting themselves. You're not like, it's like, you as a regular civilian trying to go against the Secret Service. It's like, well, good luck. Like, good luck. I'm sorry. That's not, I'm not a Navy SEAL, so I'm not going to go try to take over in Navy SEAL territory. Like, this is not, that's like going in with no training. It's like you're bound to be defeated, or it's going to be, you probably won't be defeated immediately, but it's going to be really hard for you to win. Essentially, it's same thing with like a monopoly board. If somebody owns an entire street, yeah, you can roll a 12 and happen to get past that entire street. But what are the odds that you're going to roll the 12? Like, you're probably going to have to pay rent 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before you even get to the other side of the street. And then next thing, government and policy pressure. Algorithms don't operate in a legal vacuum. Legislation, domestic and international relationships, they shape what platforms can show, suppress, or amplify. And the same app runs differently depending on where you live. So in Europe, things are not going to be the exact same as they are in America. And if you ever travel outside the country and you look at your social media feed actually does change depending on what country you're in. I mean, most of the time, like when you go to another country, you're going to be away from your phone, so you wouldn't really look. But I have looked, and sometimes those things will change. And even like financial institutions, the way they operate changes overseas as well. And this is due to algorithms specifically. This is due to like 3 pillars, I would say. The first is the EU Digital Services Act. So this requires large platforms to disclose how their recommendation algorithms work and give users the options to opt out of personalized feeds entirely. I don't believe we have that in the US, but it is in the EU. So FOSTA SESTA US. I hope I said that right. I don't probably know, but when I was searching it, it didn't give me a pronunciation. So if I said it wrong, correct me in the comments, please. I'm sorry. But this in the US changed how platforms moderate sex work related content, triggering broad suppression of LGBTQ plus health and harm reduction content as collateral damage. So when this passed, basically it changed the way we see certain pieces of content in that area, which can be seen as political, but it's just that's the agreement we came upon, and this is the collateral that happened with it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying like this is what it is. This is what happened. This is why. And then our geo-based rule sets. The same platform operates under different rules in different countries. Legal compliance is another invisible hand shaping your feed, one most users never see. So a lot of these platforms suppress what they suppress, push what they push, and keep everything the way they keep it because there's rules that they need to follow in order to stay compliant. And if they don't stay compliant, they have big fines to pay. And I don't want to, if it's me, I don't want to pay millions, billions of dollars in fines because I didn't follow certain rules when all I have to do is just leave things based on the rule sets. It's not really trying to be political. It's just like, hey, there's rules in place. We got to make sure that we are playing by those rules until they change. Plain and simple. So, part 3 of 3, the real world consequences. What can we see as a consequence? Filter bubbles and echo chambers. What are those? Two people, same platform, completely sealed off from each other's reality. The algorithm doesn't just personalize what content is. It gradually seals you inside a version of the world that confirms what you already believe. So you see content that confirms what you already think, and content that challenges you gets filtered automatically. And over time, your feed becomes a mirror and not a window. What does this mean? Well, first, ask yourself, when is the last time your feed genuinely challenged your worldview? And were you already seeking it out or not? When you think about it that way, that's how it can be very dangerous. That's a consequence, because if, let's say, no, I think donuts are gross. Well, my algorithm's going to show me people that are against donuts. And that's a funny example, but like, I was going to show me people are against donuts. Good way is like, another good thing is like, if I believe in conspiracy theories, right? I'm going to see a lot of conspiracy theories that already confirm what I believe. So when someone comes around and says, hey, this isn't true, and this is what actually is going on, like, the conspiracy theories, that's exactly what they are, just conspiracies, they're not real, this, that, and the fourth. I'll never see that content, because it's filtered out, because it doesn't confirm what I already think. And you can apply that to a lot of different scenarios. Let your mind wander and let your imagination tell you, but it creates a mirror, not a window. So you're constantly just looking at things, keeping you in a mindset of what you already believe. Nothing is there to challenge your way of thinking, and that can be very dangerous. Now, we spoke about this before, but misinformation. And misinformation moves significantly faster than true information. False news spreads 6 times faster than true news, according to a landmark MIT study published in 2018. So literally, false news, misinformation, those electrifying headlines, they spread so much faster than real news. For example, I'm very into the stock market, very into investing. When anything happens, like the Strait of Hormuz thing happened, everybody's like, the stock market has lost $2.5 trillion in value, when, yeah, that's true, but like, that is not the whole story. It's like, yes, it lost all this value because these companies went down in price, but are these companies going away? No, it's not going to happen. But do investors get nervous when things like this happen? Do people take their money out and put things in cash? Yes. Do people move things to put it in different areas? Yes. And when you see these things, 70% of people are more likely to reshare it, retweet it, whatever it is. False stories are 70% more likely to be retweeted than accurate ones, because novelty and outrage drive the difference. And at the end of the day, the algorithm doesn't fact check anything. It only amplifies what is performing well, because people aren't engaging with it. So even if it's not true, even if it's not accurate, it doesn't matter, because it performs well. As long as it performs well, that's all that matters. So, yeah. The next is the radicalization pipeline. So research shows recommendation engines can walk someone from mild mainstream content to extreme content in a single session, one watch next at a time. This isn't a fringe phenomenon. It's a documented scale on the world's largest platform. I know I'm reading these word for word, but it's because this stuff is very nuanced, so I want to make sure I get it right. So first step, mainstream content. These are ordinary videos. These are ordinary posts, articles, whatever it is. Whatever, the ordinary stuff. The regular stuff we always see on a regular basis. And then the edgier picks. This is when the more provocative stuff comes up, the highly engaging content, the really like dopamine pushing content. And then the last step is the extreme content, which is the fringe viewpoints, the conspiracies, the radicalized materials. You can go from watching one story about our administration to now you have 18 different conspiracy theories on why the United States is going downhill. We don't know. Like there's many different kinds of ways to get you to that content and then get it to you very quickly based on what you're already watching. So it feels seamless as you're going through this pipeline, but you can end up there in a matter of minutes, and it's really surprising. But when you're scrolling next time, think about it. As you scroll, look at how your content gradually gets more provocative and more radicalized at the end of the, like more extreme at the end of your scrolling journey. Sounds weird, scrolling journey, but you know what I mean. So good note, YouTube's algorithm was formally documented by researchers sending users toward increasingly extreme videos. Each click signaling show me more like this. The algorithm optimizes for the next click, not your long-term well-being, mental health, or civic understanding. So when you're thinking about scrolling, thinking about going through things, remember the algorithm is not focused on keeping your mind well. It's focused on keeping you engaged with every click, scroll, like, comment, share, whatever it is. So racial and cultural bias. Black creators, LGBTQ plus voices, and disability content are disproportionately flagged and demonetized. Why? Because they don't fit the brand safety standards, certain things like that. And then advertiser friendly standards systematically exclude marginalized perspectives because they're not safe to advertisers, plain and simple. And the algorithm was trained on biased data, and it shows. That's kind of just the easiest way to look at it. It's like it's been trained on biased data, and it's trained to keep advertisers safe. So the LGBTQ, the black creators, marginalized communities, disability content, different things that can be seen as a little more unsafe to these large brands, they are excluded because it's just not safe. It doesn't make a lot of money, and it pulls from the pockets of those who've already put money in. Now, how does this affect mental health? This is a big thing. These algorithms that shape our digital experience have profound and often detrimental effects on mental well-being, particularly for younger users. This is our TikTokers. We saw this with the Tide Pod epidemic. Known harms, continued platforms. Internal research of leaked documents revealed platforms knew Instagram was harmful to teen girls' mental health, yet it continued with the same design choices. Very interesting. Engineered social comparison. The constant loops of social comparison, which often lead to anxiety and self-doubt, are intentionally designed features, not accidental byproducts. I think we've all felt this. Like, we see the guy with the Lamborghini, we see the person with the big house, the nice car, the boat, the traveling everywhere, and then we look at our lives and we're like, I'm not doing any of that. But we tend to forget that these platforms only show the very best parts of our lives, not the everyday humdrum of living life in the United States and across the globe. So, yeah, but it has adverse effects on mental health, seeing it all the time, because now you start to compare yourself. And then dopamine-driven engagement, the addictive dopamine-driven scroll behavior. It constantly is seeking novelty and reward, and it's carefully engineered mechanism to maximize time spent on the platforms. So they want you to get happy, they want you to laugh, they want you to, be distracted by what is on your feed, so you stay on the platform, not because they care about your mental health. So it's not a side effect, it's a design choice. So just be wary of that when you're scrolling, when you're posting, and what you're sharing. So, what is a common misconception? This brings us to myth number 4. I can reset my algorithm by clearing my history. No, not true. The reality is actually much more complex, because platforms employ sophisticated tracking mechanisms that extend far beyond your browser's history log. So, device fingerprinting, unique identifiers based on whatever your device is, the hardware and software of the device, so your phone, your laptop, your computer, all different things like that. Location data, your physical movements, and frequented places. This is, this is why Instagrams and Snapchats and different things, like, they have the location filters too, the Denver, Colorado filter, the California filter, like, that location-based data, that doesn't go anywhere. And then behavioral patterns, how you interact across different apps and sites, and even when you logged out of those, like, those things are still collected. So your clean slate is just not as clean as you may think. Which brings us into myth number 5, which the algorithm is neutral and it's just math. It's not just math. They're not born in a vacuum, but they are products of design, of human design, economic incentives, and historical data. And this obviously imbues them with inherent biases because it's designed by humans. All of us as humans, we have biases, which is our human bias, reflecting on perspectives of their creators. So whoever's making these things, they have biases. Whoever's investing in these things, they have biases. We all as humans have biases. So the data, we can't expect a computer to be trained off of non-biased data when we're the ones that give it the data. Advertiser incentives, they prioritize profit over impartiality. Advertisers want their money back. That's it. And then bias training data, amplifying existing inequalities or stereotypes, because again, we're humans, we have certain stereotypes, we have biases, we have existing inequalities that just affect us on our everyday lives, but we can't expect computers and machines to not be unbiased when we give them biased data. So yeah, there's no such thing as a truly neutral algorithm, because every system has its own point of view baked in based off who made it. So we've talked about the humdrum and the detriment, but what can you actually do? You have more power than they want you to think and less than you hope. I know that's a very impartial part, but like, you have more power than what you think is the biggest piece. So first thing you need to do, audit your feed. To truly understand the algorithm's influence, you need to become your own detective and start asking about who am I not seeing and why am I not seeing that person. So use chronological feeds, prioritize chronological viewing where available. So Instagram, TikTok, X, to temporarily bypass algorithmic curation and see content as it's posted. So basically look at your settings and see what you can change to make things more chronological rather than give the machine more data. Search neutrally. Employ incognito or private browsing modes for searches to get results less influenced by your personalized algorithmic filter in past browsing history. So use private browsing to, I use private browsing all the time just because that's the first thing that opens. Like I just use it religiously because I do like to just search neutrally because I seen a bunch of different ads pop up when I don't, and it's just like, all right, I just want to search for Parlor Donuts. I don't want to search Krispy Kreme Winchell's comparison video too much. So I was like, yep, incognito private browsing on a regular basis. And then also be wary of that too, because like that doesn't keep you completely safe, but it keeps you safer, I guess. But it doesn't keep you completely safe because they can still see the data. So data still gets stored somewhere. And then identify missing topics. Actively observe and question what subjects, perspectives, or viewpoints are conspicuously absent from your regular content stream. And this often reveals your filter bubble. So yeah, just look for things that are missing. Look for the opposing point of view. Look for the challenging point of view. Because if you only see things that confirm what you think, you're in a bubble. But if you see things that are outside of what you think, outside of what you feel, and outside of what you normally are stuck in believing, now you're seeing all the content. So you should feel challenged. You should feel like there should be things that make you feel uncomfortable in the way that you think about whatever it is going on. You should see opposing points of view because it helps you think better, helps you see more, helps you do more. Last thing, I don't know if this is the last thing, but reclaim your agency. So take back control. Take back control of your digital life, and this requires both your personal habits and like systematic pressure. But start by reclaiming your information diet. So take back control of what enters your mind. So RSS readers, you can look into these, but these will curate your own sources. Newsletters and Substack, they bypass the algorithm entirely. Newsletters, good for reading, all different things like that. Substack, they help you get the whole story full and true. Platform alternatives. So explore the alternatives like the Blue Skies, the Mastodons. Just check them out. The fan bases, check them out. I know that's not the sexiest way to explain it, but like, hey, check out some of those other platforms. You'll notice they may be a little more boring, but that's because they're not personalized to just give you a dopamine hit. And intentional follows. Choose who you see. Very easy. Don't wait to be recommended. Search, do your own searches. See who you need to see. Find the people you want to find. Search for those smaller creators. Connect with those creators. And see and follow certain people specifically to see what it is you want to see. And then on a systematic level, this is bigger than personal habits, but support algorithmic transparency legislation. So these are things that when you see these different things pop up, when you're doing your research on, what legislations and things are going around, search those things. Follow more organizations doing this work. A couple examples I have is like the Mozilla Foundation, the EFF, and the Free Press. But you can search more, of course. See what other organizations are doing the work for you so that you can support them and you don't have to do all the work yourself. And demand platform audits. This is a civil rights issue. So, yeah, like you can definitely demand each platform be audited for what their algorithm is doing. And then last thing, of course, vote. Elect representatives who understand tech policy. We always got to vote. Midterms are coming up, but voting is a key part of anything. That's how we keep democracy alive, and that's how we keep things moving. And then the 3 media literacy questions that I recommend asking is, why am I seeing this right now? Who benefits from me engaging with this? What am I not being shown? That'll take you out of a lot of situations there. But the big question is, now that you know this, what responsibility do platforms have? And more importantly, what responsibilities do we have as users of them? But as we wrap up, a couple key takeaways. One, engagement over truth. The algorithm shows you what keeps you engaged, not what's true or important for your well-being. Plain and simple. Number two, silence is data. Even your passive behavior, it still shapes your feed. Your quiet behaviors still shape your feed. Plain and simple, easy to understand. Number three, it's financial, not just political. Content suppression often stems from financial incentives and advertiser brand safety concerns, rather than just pure political motivations or just other motivations entirely. Most of the time it's financial. And number four, beyond browser history. Clearing your history does not fully reset your algorithm. Platforms use a lot of other different pieces of data and tracking methods to follow your patterns. Number five, there is no neutral algorithm. Algorithms are products of human design, economic goals, and historical data, and making them inherently biased makes them inherently biased, and they will not become neutral. They're far from it. Algorithms aren't showing you the world; they're showing you a version of the world designed to keep you scrolling on that platform. So, what are some next steps you can take? Continue your journey of understanding and engagement with these curated resources. So, one, I really like this. You can watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. It's a documentary exploring like dangerous human impact on social networking and the power of algorithms in shaping our perceptions. A good book to read is The Filter Bubble by Eli Pariser. I don't know how to say his name, but I read the book. Discover how personalized algorithms are isolating us from different ideas and perspectives, creating unique, isolated information universes. And then follow the Mozilla Foundation, Electronic Frontier Foundation, Free Press. These organizations are actively working on digital rights, privacy, and media literacy. But that's all I got for you guys. Yeah. Do we have any questions online? Any questions in person?
No questions online.
Okay, no questions online. Any questions? Well, if you don't have any questions, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for being a part of the first episode of season 2 of this creator series. I don't know if we've officially named it, but we're just gonna call it the Creative Bad Boy series. If it doesn't make money, it gets buried. So thank you guys for joining. Why a story didn't spread? The first question to ask is, who would have? That last shot. It's good? Cool. Yeah, I definitely think this is a major important one. It's like, you gotta know how your algorithm works.
B-roll of pain. He like, why you filming? Who wins from this frame? Camera ain't neutral, it carries your weight. Every angle of choice, every cut of debate. Funny with it, but serious in tone. Knows power lives in what you leave alone. Creative bad boy, not messy allowed. Just teaching folks how to be human and proud. So if Javon talk media, you better lean in. He'll give you the tools and the mirror within. That's the real flex, that's the dangerous joy. Javon the creative, ethical bad boy.